甜点传师、菜点传师各位学长，大家好，暗暝今仔暗咱要甲咱出八出道是活在咱的菜点传师Master John, Master Tian, and Master Tsai, and all talking good evening. Tonight, once again, our Master Tsai will provide us her compassionate guidance. 咱四个来，咱邀请咱的菜点传师甲咱出八出道。Now let us invite our Master Tsai for her compassionate guidance.
好，所以感谢天恩师弟，感谢祖师皇族，感谢师尊师庙大德，感谢老前人甲各位点传师慈悲栽培，更加感谢今仔日暗暝在座各位道亲，咱大家做伙来入来 room 内面吼，做伙来学习，互协发有这个机会学习做人的道理。
Thank you to Heaven's grace and teacher's virtue, and to our Buddha Maitreya, and for the compassion of our Situn and Simu, and also for the guidance of all the Tian Chuan Si, and especially to everyone who are here tonight so that giving us a chance to share our lecture tonight.
咱协发今仔日要讲的对话是7月份就已经约好势啊，要讲这个观法如主伊的转世甲伊的显化的迄个生平的介绍。
Tonight, our topic will be about the introduction of the life and reincarnation of our Guan Fa Lu Chu, and also his manifestations and being protector of the sentient beings.
这就讲到转世，就讲到显化咯。
We will talk about his reincarnation and also his manifestations.
伫个还未讲到这个主题以前咧，协发几工前有记得台湾武汉叶传禅师献过来一个新的迄个资讯咱伫即摆咱来看咱的迄个下一个投影片。Next.
So a few days ago, our Tian Chuan Si has received a news from our Wuhan Tian Chuan Si about something that has happened in Taiwan.
即个咱正看到这张相片这张相片就是伫台北市内湖区，也新起一间敢若等于咱遮马尼拉尾马尼拉湾边迄间迄个美国大使馆同款的一个所在，叫做 AIT。
So the picture here is the location is at the U.S. Embassy in Taiwan, which is called the AIT.
台湾叫做 AIT 吧，因为政治上的问题叫做 AIT。那么这个相片内底咱会看到中央有3个北京人、美国人中央一个女的，还一个男的，还2个男的，女的穿 green 色的，男的正边咱倒边咱看无什么色，去迄个拜拜物件早着。正边穿马润这3个就是即马伫台北，伫台湾台北的等于美国的大使。
So we can see the 3 persons, the 3 U.S. citizens at the center of this photo, a lady and 2 gentlemen, and all of them, though all 3 of them are ambassadors from the U.S.
那么伫顶礼拜5都一礼拜前一礼拜前迄个8月13，我咱人7月13是吧？7月20咱人7月208月20，咱人7月13，咱这公元8月20伫台北伊这个所在咧，哇摆足侪物件，今仔从这夜香拜拜做普渡。
So we can see from the photo they have prepared so many offering materials, and it happened last August 20, and it was the 10th day of the 7th month of our lunar calendar, and they have prepared everything to celebrate and make a salvation ceremony for the ghost month.
这个7月咱大家咱人拢知影咱人7月是鬼月吧你拢会利用这个7月的时阵做 普渡什么咧？普渡迄寡咱看袂到迄寡好兄弟，迄寡英灵。那么美国人因是一个基督教国家的人因来到台湾呢，因嘛知影讲，这个转世，这个有过来做人这个观念因已经接受啊，所以举香对拜。
So this happened during the 7th month of the lunar Chinese lunar year, and we always call this the 7th month the ghost month. And oftentimes, people in Chinese communities will celebrate this ghost month and conduct salvation ceremonies. And we can see that since these U.S. citizens, even though they come from Christian countries, they still follow our traditions and still believe in the in reincarnation and the celebration of the ghost month.
因了解讲，这个有影有这个接受讲有这个转世，有这个轮回这个观念，那么咱看迄个相片的倒背，有一个，这个应该是台湾人，伊手摕一张纸，黄色的纸，这张就是一张普渡的标文。
On the left side of the picture, we can see a Chinese citizen, and he is holding that yellow folder, which is the holy petition for the salvation ceremony.
咱大家拢知什么叫做标文嘛？要拜拜，要烧烧学上天，也是要烧烧学会看袂到的物件，迄张纸叫做标文。那么这张标文呢，今日主笔献互下，咱大家做伙来看来 next。
So the holy petition, we all understand that it is something we will burn to heaven, and also we will offer it also for the unseen ghost.
伊遐庄严，遐照机工，敢若亲像咱迄做祈福啊，是做迄大的法会啊，是做迄个办道的时阵，早上有一张标文，讲美国在台协会普渡祝祷文写啥物咧？讲要请即个普渡的迄个负责普渡的迄寡神父啦，甲迄个伫地角嘅管教化迄寡几个地藏王菩萨，要安怎呢？咱这看落去讲伊内面写讲即个美国大使馆的美国 AIT 的处长某某人伫什么所在？台北内湖金湖路100号伊有内容写什么呢？讲咱地主即个美国大使馆即寡人带领所有的员工拄着咱即马7月普渡咱经即个好的点睛，踮咧台北内湖金湖路100号，一心虔诚祈祷普听众员准备鲜花素果素的三星祭品来供养来互迄寡十方的孤魂，甲有情的众生甲去即间厝的时阵去受到伤害迄寡生灵。
So this holy petition invites the saints and Buddhas who are in charge of the salvation ceremony, and also the Tizuang Pusa, for they wish to ask from them, and it was written as follows: disciples from the United States of America who are here in Taipei, Taiwan, leads all co-workers in the celebration of the Ghost Month, and has chosen this time and this day, and has prepared fresh flowers, fruits, vegetarian dishes, wine, and other offerings, including ghost money, to offer them to all the wandering ghosts, and also to all the creatures, and to all spirits and souls who has in one way or another been harmed and injured during the process of the construction of this infrastructure in the address mentioned above.
希望会当保 保庇种地主大家身体健康，家庭圆满，出入平安，万事如意，那么天百福，愈会进千祥，安尼甲这个祈福咧报上天。
And also we're asking for the blessing of all the disciples to have a healthy body, to have a happy family, to have safety during daily life, and to have everything that everyone is wishing for, and that is asking all this from heaven.
所以咱直接看来咧，即款美国人咧，毋是干那讲伊立乡随俗对咱人的风俗来尔，伊嘛是有接受到讲，哇，即个十方有一寡孤魂，嘛有一寡众生咧，伫咧遮轮回，他伊就是有承认讲有众生、有轮回，有转世。
So it does not only show that they are adopting and following the traditions in Taiwan because they are based in Taiwan, but it also shows that they have belief in the reincarnation and in the cycle of birth and rebirth of all sentient beings.
因为一般的基督教的信仰是无讲到这个轮回啦。
Because oftentimes in Christian belief, they do not have they do not believe in reincarnations.
因无讲到轮回啦，有相信无相信，咱唔知，毋过无讲到轮回那么伫咧这个最新这个消息里面看到咧，无对基督教国家的人拢无信的这款物件，伊嘛豆会接受，什么叫做轮回，什么叫做转世。
So even though we do not know that if they has belief on this or not, but we seldom hear that they mention about the incarnation. But since we see what happened and what they have done for the ghost man, we can see that little by little they are accepting the idea that there is really reincarnation and the cycle of birth and rebirth in here on earth.
下一张 ，next。即摆协法开始讲完成地讲这项代志咱这个专队当然咱协法要讲以前呢，爱先感恩，感恩迄个考助理伫咧迄个7月份讲到宣佛圣号的时阵，对这个观世音帝君讲啊非常的详细。
So tonight we will start our discussion about our Guan Fa Lu Chu. But before that, we have to be thankful to our Lucy Tuli because she has discussed this topic few weeks ago and the topic was discussed very clearly to us.
但是今仔日有加一种了后的愿啦，因为观世音帝君咱遮讲帝啊讲是讲迄个关公。伫咧37年前的时阵咧，有踮咧后学就是周典禅师甲蔡典禅师会厝内有讲保庇过，有显化过。学法今仔有即个责任，踮咧遮甲各位道亲做一个分享。
Now, because Guan Fa Lu Chu has shown manifestation some 37 years ago in the home of
39 years ago.
39 years ago in the home of our Zhou Tianchuan Shi and Tsai Tianchuan Shi. So that's why our Tianchuan Shi feels that she has the obligation and duty to share and discuss with everyone the life and experiences of our Guan Fa Lu Chu and also his success of becoming a saint.
周典禅师伫咧37年前、37、8、9年前迄个点钟有建立一间五马场伫咧马尼拉。
So some 38 years ago, our Zhou Tianchuan Shi has built a rubber factory in Manila.
当然万事起头难啦。
And also, and because everything will encounter difficulties in the beginning.
啊，定定有一寡吼无顺心、无如意嘅代志发生。
And oftentimes, problems and difficulties will happen.
啊，那么有一摆哦，有较严重咯。九点传师伫迄个唱的迄个拉布道里吼，从 mix 的时阵吼，砖头倒手的第四支砖头再去互迄个 mix 架去受伤。
So one time, our Zhoutian Transi has experienced an injury wherein it happened in a mixer in the laboratory, and one of the finger on his left hand was injured.
从迄个mixer 迄个马丁甲迄个砖架吼，骨头有需要受伤着，我甲迄个砖架规支全挽起来，伊阵对迄摆开始，第四支砖头就无砖架了。
It happened that the fingernail of our Zhoutian Transi was detached during that incident. And from that day on, our Zhoutian Transi doesn't have any fingernail on his fourth finger of the left hand.
5点外转来到厝内时阵，阮看到伊手流血，迄个一寡迄个纱布绑着阮大嘛，足惊。迄个点钟拄好有一位昆道的老点传师，叫做张前妹点传师，个有我的妈妈、带阿嬷拢伫马尼拉。
When our Zhoutian Transi got home that afternoon, we saw that his hand has bandage on it. So we were so afraid and we were so worried of what happened to him. And during that time, there was one Tian Transi, Zhan Qianmei Lao Tian Transi, and our Tsai Ama was also in Manila.
因两个就决定讲咱请一尊吼，观法如主，咱就不当了观法如主咱请一尊观法如主来去咧。我马上甲猜着，安尼希望伊阿爸就无代志咯，因为观法如主上正气，伊上吼缀着迄寡吼奇奇怪怪物件缀掉。
So they both suggested that why not invite a statue of I-Kuan Fa Lu Chu and place it in our factory, because the dignity of I-Kuan Fa Lu Chu can win over the bad things that exist in the factory.
像我昨仔第二天，请一尊观法如主摕一个香炉点用提香啦，摕几盘果子去五马手拜拜，甲按一个做点的五马手。对迄阵开始以后咧，五马手就顺顺时时饲阮一个到大汉。
So the next day, they invited a statue of the Guan Fa Lu Chu and brought along incense and fruits and made an offering. And from that day on, everything just went on very smoothly. And the factory went on and was able to provide for our whole family.
所以每一摆啦，讲到观法如主的时阵我就真正感恩感恩观法如主安尼甲阮创真保庇，真正顺遂。
So every time when Guan Fa Lu Chu was mentioned, our family is very, very thankful and grateful to our Guan Fa Lu Chu for helping us all throughout our life.
Next， 下一章，伫咱人社会，大家拢知影什么人叫做观法如主。Next， 观法如主咧，咱一般的人甲伊称呼做关公啦、帝爷公啦、文主公啦，关圣帝君，足侪称呼，差不多是拢安尼。只好是有中国人的所在，就一定有帝爷庙。
So our Guan Fa Lu Chu is very common in Chinese community. Whenever there are Chinese, there will surely have a temple of the Guan Fa Lu Chu. And Guan Fa Lu Chu was commonly called as Guan Gong, Teya Gong, Unzu Gong, Guan Xing Te Kun in different places.
只好是有中国人的所在，就一定拢有关帝爷庙吧，那么2020年甲几位道亲的去Reincarnated去阳城遐去关怀嘛，看到因的办公厅踩着一尊足大尊的帝爷。
So as long as there are Chinese people in the place, we can surely see the image of our Guan Fa Lu Chu. Last 2020, we went to Dumaguete to visit the Yulo family, and we saw that in the office of Mr. Yulo, there also exists a statue of the Guan Fa Lu Chu.
真多生意人拢爱拜关法律主，甚至一寡迄个专业的人 ，professional 人 ，accountant 嘛拜关法律主，甚至香港的厅局，厅局 police station 嘛采关法律主。为什么呢？因为关法律主真有威胁，伊个真有正气。
In Chinese communities, we can always see the image of our Guan Fa Lu Chu. He is always present in some commercial institutions, especially in some police stations, especially in Hong Kong. We can always see Guan Fa Lu Chu's presence in the police stations, and also many professional individuals also worship Guan Fa Lu Chu because of his dignity, that and righteousness that is make people really worship and really always want to ask for or blessings from him.
这1,000年来这关法律主显化保庇的代志一直听人咧说，一直听人咧说。所以伫咱台湾，若要找到关法律主的迄个关帝爷迄个伊的生平啦，伊的显化的事迹，要找到真容易找到。
Especially in the last 2,000 years, our Guan Fa Lu Chu has shown so many manifestations in different places. So it is still happening until now. So if we want to listen to the stories of Guan Fa Lu Chu, it will not really be very difficult.
下一张，咱定定讲33天天外天，天外有神仙。
So we always hear that there are 33 circles heavens, and there are heavens beyond heavens. And beyond these heavens, there are saints and immortals.
神仙本是凡人做，只怕凡人心不坚。
These immortals all started as a simple, ordinary human being. The only thing to be worried about is the inconsistent heart and determination of these mortal beings.
那么关公的即摆做神仙啊，伊嘛是经过做关公、做普通人，做普通人迄个阶段。
Even our Guan Fa Lu Chu, even though that he is saint, but he also experienced being a human being.
那么伊的过去世是安怎呢？咱无对拢总知影，不过伫咧关公的前一世迄个前一世迄个事迹，咱搁伫咧庙台湾的庙内面搁找着咧。
So not everyone of us will know of the life of our Guan Fa Lu Chu, but in some temples in Taiwan, we can still find the story of his previous lives.
下一张，伊的真死人诶，关法律主的真死人，关公的真死人诶，伊是伫咧中国山西即个省解州济州有一条河这条河是属于 Yellow River 一条 branch 叫做中条河，这个中条河迄个灵王。
So the previous life, as we can research, our Guan Fa Lu Chu was a river dragon king or a dew king of the Zhongtiao River of Xietou in the Shanxi province of China.
这个好灵王这个灵王呢，伊唔是干那做灵王啊，尔，伊个伊负责迄个所在漏水。
So he is not just a river dragon king, but he is also in charge of the dew water of the place.
伫伊做灵王迄几百年内面呢，迄个所在的老百姓 几百年来咧，拢真正虔诚嘅甲拜，一个点香嘅甲拜。
So for the few hundreds of years that he was the river king of that place, the local people had been devotedly worshiping him for all those time.
啊，该安怎咧？该讲吼，你都爱保庇阮家吼风调雨顺啦，国泰民安啦，就是安尼求安尼嘛吼。
They all wish, they are asking the Dragon King to provide them with a smooth life and also to have good weather all the time.
啊，伊看伊即款百姓吼，遐尼虔诚诶，伊就家己有一个诺言，有一个 promise 吼，伊讲要好好保庇即寡吼遐尼诚心诶老百姓。
So since he know and has seen that the sincereness of these devotees, he also made a promise that he will bless and protect these sincere and pious people of the place.
啊，有一年咧，伊即个所在，即附近诶所在，因诶老百姓在做啥物代志？犯了天规天顶诶条规，啊叫皇帝生气，就要处罚你个所在吼，3年无要互落雨。
But one year, the people of that place has violated something, and it has done something that has violated the heavenly rules. So the Jade Emperor was very mad of what they have done and has punished the local people with 3 years of drought.
哇，3年无落雨，是要怎啊风调雨顺啊？所以中调雨的淋雨，非常的不忍心。
So with 3 years of drought, when there are 3 years without rainwater, how can they have good weather and good harvest? So the River Dragon King is very worried, and he could not bear to let the people suffer.
啊，就是去甲雷公啦，甲风神啦，甲黄河的龙王啊，要甲因借雨借水，无人敢借伊。
So he went out of his way, and he asked help from the River King, from the Wind King, from the Thunder God, from the River God, from the Wind God, and from the Thunder God, and also from the Rain God, to help and ask help from them to help these people. But no one would dare to commit to his request.
伊就想讲办哦，我就答应讲要保护即寡老百姓啊，啊无人要借我水，我安尼落啦。我逐工就生一寡露水吼，来无雨水啊，露水啊尔吼，来甲即个所在的迄个土地甲从互伊淡露水。
So he was so worried that no one can help him. So he was also very worried that when there is no rainwater, the people will not live very well. So what he did was he planned and made the water of the river to become dew water. That can provide for the moisture of the place.
啊，下一张，唔是这张啦，下一张吼，啊，伊这个吼，这露水偌济咧，这露水法度，互这个土骹咧淡沙笑。
So what the dew water that he provided can do is that it can moisten the soil for 3 feet high.
哦，所以虽然3年无落雨咧，因为即款露水吼，润土沙笑咧，3年无落雨，但是季季该丰收，就是讲3年虽然无落雨咧，但是每一个 season 咧都有法度 harvest。
So through the help of the dew water, even though that there was drought for 3 years, there was no rainwater, but every season the locals still had good harvest every time.
我这个皇帝地看着也奇怪啊，本来即款人应该无修行，那变做 harvest 咧，变丰收咧，查出来就知影讲，哇，是这个中条河的河龙王吼违反天规，就该吊登去天顶。
So the Jade Emperor was really wondering why these people can still have good harvest despite that he is not providing any rain to them. So later on, he discovered that it was the Dragon King who is providing them the dew water for them to still have good harvest. But doing that, he has already violated the rule of heaven. And because of that, the Jade Emperor called him and wanted to behead him.
那么要互调等于以前大家就劝伊讲，啊，你唔通去啦，你这啥来去哦，一定无命的啦。伊安怎说咧？伊讲无命，我嘛是爱去啊，我爱守我的信仰，爱尽我的责任。
So everyone was telling him, everyone was telling him not to go back to heaven, and not to report to the Jade Emperor because they know that he will surely die when he go back. But the river dragon king said that even though I will lose my life, I still have to report to the emperor because I have to be a trustworthy person who will answer for everything that I have done.
啊，坐去啊天顶咯，马上就去互天兵天将来斩头啊。
So as he reported to heaven, he was immediately beheaded.
哦，叫人斩头以后，头壳落落来。
And his head fell down back to earth.
啊，伊这个时阵吼，伊个所在拄好有伊个山西解州迄个所在，拄好有一个修道的人，伊名叫做普净，少年家啊，尔一粒岁啊，尔吼，啊，毋过修了真好。伊伫咧入定的时阵吼，伊看到这项代志，就甲这灵头捡倒转来。
So during that time, when his head fell back to earth, there was a young cultivator named Pu Jing. During that time, he was into meditation and he knew what happened. So, and he knew that the head of the river rat dragon king has fallen near their place. So they went and picked back and took back the head.
啊，所以就甲迄寡迄个所在地方的老百姓讲，来，咱大家来吼，恁即保庇恁的即个灵哦，已经无去啊，吼，咱大家做伙来甲超度，连续甲超度9天。
So, since he knew whose head it belongs to, he called on the village people and asked them to help him to perform religious ceremonies for 9 days in order to help his soul to find peace.
超度9天以后咧 ，next 下一章。哦，伫遐附近啊咧，有一个人，因姓平，这个平是这个翁某啊，有多因这个太太多诞生，哦，第3胎诞生第3摆哦，头前因2个囝拢已经细汉就过身，啊，伊这个吼，这个灵魂吼超度9天以后，再投胎伫这个吼姓平的这个翁某的迄个太太的迄个腹肚底，过无几天，就出世啊。
So, after 9 days of the ceremony, he was reincarnated into a family with the family named Peng. This family has had 3 sons. The couple has had 3 sons, but the 2 elder sons all died at very young age.
我搁补充一摆吼，伊是拄好即个姓平的即个看守咧，拄诞生第3个囡仔，吼，啊，超度9天以后咧，啊，即个灵魂就投胎踮咧即个第3个囡仔，即个身躯顶悬出世啦。
So, when the river dragon king was killed, during that time, the Peng family, the wife of the Peng family is already pregnant. So, on the 9th day of the ceremony, the river dragon king was reincarnated and was born into the Peng family.
啊，那么这个修道人吼，普净吼，看到伊出世伫遐咯，就要来替伊号名，讲吼，我帮你这个囡仔，甲你这个囡仔号做陈寿，啊，另外一个名叫做长生，伊实在是真希望讲这个囡仔会当活到久。
So, when Pu Jing found out that he was born into the Peng family, he went and wanted to give him a name, and he was named Peng So, which means So means life, long life, and nickname Chang Seng, which also means long life, and because he wished for this child to have a long life.
但是这个吼，这个因这老爸的姓平的这个男的呢，无甲伊号做彭寿啦，甲伊号做彭贤，圣贤伊的贤。
So, but the father of the child, the husband, did not follow the name that was given to him by the cultivator. He changed his name and called him Peng Xian.
所以关公伊本来的姓的是叫做姓彭，伊的名叫做贤。真哦读册，佫是到头大面书，是到真缘投吼。迄款缘投是安尼，真拉拉个，真很男子气概，很 man 的那种缘投啦吼。然后看什么册拢过目不忘，真爱读《易经》，真爱读《左传》，真爱读《春秋》。毋过咧，伊上爱就是上爱武术。
So, the original, from here we can see that the original family name of our Guan Fa Lu Chu is Peng and not Guan. Guan Fa Lu Chu was born to be very good looking, with a very masculine image, and he was a very intelligent student who can remember things often by reading on once. He loves the books, eating the book of change, Zuan, or Mr. Zhou's Annal, and Chunqiu, the spring and autumn annals. And what he loves most is martial arts or wushu.
因为爱武术爱动武吧，少年的时阵，我袂晓想，袂晓忍。有一摆咧，伊失手拍死人，就开始逃走咯，惊互迄个政府官员抓去。
So, because he knew wushu, he knew martial arts. So during his younger days, when he was still very young and vigorous, he unintentionally killed someone. And because he was so afraid that he will be given a death sentence, that he will be put into prison, he started to run away.
伊走到一个所在，一个官员就问讲：你姓啥？伊惊掠去关，就讲我姓关。
So while he was fleeing for his life, he was once stopped by an official, by a guard, and he was asked of his family name. Because during that time, he was so afraid that he might be locked up behind the prison. So he said that his family name is Guan, which means literally close or being imprisoned.
你什么名？伊就想讲，我即马上惊就是会失去了自由吧。我想要我会当飞，无爱失去我的自由。就讲我的名叫做羽毛的羽。
So next he was asked of his first name. So because during that time he really wanted to have freedom, he wanted to be as free as a bird. So he said that his name was Yu, which means feather of a bird.
所以从此以后，出去以后，伊的名叫做关羽咯。所以关公的名叫做关羽。
So from that day on, his name became Guan Yu.
你安尼机缘成熟，甲迄个老爸张飞，伫张飞的厝内桃园遐，三个人结拜换帖，这叫做有名的桃园三结义，变成《三国演义》内面有名的迄个出名迄个武将。
So later on, when the time was already mature, our Guan Gong and Zhang Fei and Liu Pi became sworn brothers. And they took an oath of brotherhood in the peach garden in the home of Zhang Fei.
所以咱伫咱华侨社会有啥物款竹林嘛，啥物看兄弟会嘛，知影讲啥物叫做桃园三结义，啥物叫做结拜，啥物叫做换帖。
So in most Chinese community, when there are brotherhood associations, they will always know what is the oath that was taken in the peach garden of Changfei.
这个点睛大概是公元167年左右的迄个点睛。
And the Sworn Brotherhood took place in around 167 AD.
下一张 next。这就是咱看到，这就是关公爷长得这样子长得很真款的真正有威胁啦，都看落去。
So we can see this is the picture of Guan Fa Lu Chu. He is very masculine and very good looking and with so much dignity.
下一张，这就是规身躯穿衫，伊的武器就是一支关刀。
So he always loves to wear something green, and he always holds on to his sword.
咱个下一张，这就是伊的伊徛的相是做关大，个就有威胁的，喙手真正水。
So this is how he looked when he's standing up. He has the most beautiful beard in history, and he is looks very strict and very dignified.
下一张，这就是因在结拜，在伫桃园结拜，一个image。
This is an image when they took an oath of brotherhood in the peach garden.
中国大汉来遮，伫台湾大汉来遮，拢差不多知影《三国演义》的故事，嘛知影即个历史人物。咱伫遮大汉的可能都较唔知影。
So the people here in the Philippines, especially those who came from China or Taiwan, will all understand and know about this story. But for the people who are born and raised here in the Philippines, most of us, we cannot understand the story.
这个故事咱嘛要讲完咯，讲2-3节课嘛讲袂完。你若拍做历史剧，拍做迄个《三国演义》电视剧，搬70集的。
So if we will discuss about this story, it will take us many sittings to finish it, because in the television series, it took 70 episodes for it to finish.
咱即马就简单对这个三国这个桃园三结义遮换贴这位，咱就来忽略过去，咱来讲煞落去。
So we will just continue with our topic and leave behind the story of the Sworn Brotherhood that took place in the peach garden.
迄个时阵关公甲张飞因缀伫老父下骹伫迄个诸葛亮的帮助内底。主要帮助的人是诸葛亮嘛，诸葛亮这个人也是真有名的人，咱就无这么再个用时间通介绍咯。就是诸葛亮帮助因这个三兄弟给迄个老爸建设一个三国内面的蜀汉之国，甲迄个北边这个蓝色的这个曹操这个魏，甲正边咱看地图，正边这个孙权的吴，这个叫做三国。中国有一个点睛160，公元167年左右的时候，中国是安尼，一个中国分做3个国家，叫做三国时代。
During the time about the 167 AD in China, there existed the 3 kingdoms, wherein one country has 3 different kingdoms ruled by different rulers. So with the 3 Sworn brothers, Quan Kong, Liu Pi, and Zhang Fei, with the help of Zhuge Liang, they have established the Shuhan, which is the green part of the map. And on the red part, it is led by Sun Quan, which is called the Wu Kingdom. And on the blue part, it is led by Cao Cao, which is called the Wei, which is the blue part.
这3个国家内面这老爸因这个国家看起来就是较水啦。
So of the 3 kingdoms, the blue part, which is the one led by Liu Pi, is the smallest in area.
这是一个真正大战争的时代。
It was a time in history with great wars.
下一章。就是虽然伊上衰咧，但是诸葛亮、关公、关羽、甲张飞，就是真正忠心、忠心耿耿对着老弟。
Even though that Suhan is the smallest in area, but with Zhuge Liang and also the three sworn brothers, Guan Gong, Zhang Fei, and Lao Pi, they were all very loyal to Lao Pi.
另外迄两个国家的迄曹操咧，甲孙权就羡慕啊，就羡慕啥咧？羡慕讲老毕哪有一个参与关公遮尔好，迄个遐尔勇敢的将军，遐尔牛的将军。
So for the other two kingdoms, which was led by Cao Cao and Sun Quan, they were also very envious of Liu Pi because he had three very loyal people following him.
几下拜号就是要请关公投降因，但是像关公拢拒绝，因为伊是一个真守信，佫真忠勇，佫真有义气，佫以德服众的一个英勇好汉。
So for many times they have tried to lure Guan Gong to surrender and to be under Cao Cao, but every time they would not succeed in doing so because Guan Gong was a person he's a hero who maintains integrity, loyalty, righteousness, and serves with morality.
就是讲拄着迄利益甲道德的时阵一定经道德就去经利益的啦。
So to make him choose between what he can receive and between morality, he will always choose morality.
在战争的伊个拍战来拍战去，迄历史中咧，即个关公我知过三关斩五将，真正有名，真正出名。但是不幸伫58岁时阵一个一场甲迄个孙权的战争内底咧，去吕蒙掠着，掠转去孙权。
So in the history of constant wars, Guan Gong has surmounted numerous difficulties. He has experienced many hardships and has overcome many obstacles. And he was a very brilliant person, but he was very brilliant and also very famous. But unfortunately, at the age of 58, he was captured by Lu Meng during the war with Sun Quan of Wu.
下一章，下一章来到孙权面前的时阵孙权就劝伊投降啦孙权甚至用足侪利益的，甚至要甲关公的查某囝带来做新妇，关公拢总甲伊拒绝掉伊讲
So he was caught back and was presented to Sun Quan. Sun Quan again urged him to surrender, but he did not agree. He was even offered that his daughter be married to the son of Sun Quan, but still he did not accept the offer.
伊就讲我既然互你掠着，你互我死就好啦，毋过莫甲囥喺迄个刑场刑法死嘅，你互我踮咧战场，等于战场，互我踮咧战场内面互拍死啦。
So after he has refused all the offers that was given to him, he just asked that he be let die on the battlefield instead of letting him die on an execution ground.
伊就那伊的武器就那放弃伊的武器手拔起来，两支手拔起来，就那活互伊即个人来拍死头壳甲身躯就那分开。 啊，个这头壳个原在吼，踮咧伊个身躯顶悬无叮当。
So after he has asked that he be killed on the battlefield, he was then unarmed, and his hands were tied up, and he was put on his horse, and he rode on his horse, and Lu Meng slashed Guan Gong's neck with a knife, but his head remained on his neck abruptly until he ran between two trees with a rope. It was during that time that his head fell down.
啊，一直甲弄到一条绳啊，明代真事先绑好的绳啊，去弄到一条绳啊，以后咧头壳才加落，甲落落。
So it was when his head was stuck with a rope that his head fell down.
啊，来下一章，所以关公即世就甲伊顶世共款，我拢向前头的。
So
下一章，
the history of Guan Gong in his previous life and the following life were all the same, that he was beheaded.
哦，关公就是安尼啊，头壳甲身躯拢安尼分做两位咯。啊，伊的迄个使用人姓王，看到伊死哦，怎啊跳楼自杀。伊的囝关平甲伊的部下周仓啊，对伊怎啊会死？孙权呢，就甲关公的头献予曹操，因为曹操嘛就孝顺要伫关公，所以孙权甲关公的头献予周朝做礼物。
So after that his head fell down on the ground, he died with his head and his body separated on different places. When his servant Guan Fu saw that he was killed, he also committed suicide. And his son Guan Ping and his subordinate Zhou Chang also passed away after the incident. So Sun Chen took the head and he presented the head to Cao Cao as a gift.
哎，这两个王哦，这个曹操甲孙权拢真佩服这个关公，因拢真甲用真大的礼数来甲待，用这个诸侯王的礼节来甲待。但是因为吼，一个伫头，一个是身躯，所以是安怎呢？伊的头戴伫洛阳，伊的身躯戴伫当阳，啊，伊的迄个衫戴伫四川，啊，伊的灵魂呢，登去全世伊的故乡。
So, because both Sun Chen and Cao Cao all admire Guan Gong very much, that they buried him with a noble funeral, and his head was buried in Luoyang, and his body was buried in Tangyang with Sun Chen, and his spirit went back to his hometown in Shanxi, while his clothes and personal effects were buried in Suhan in Sichuan.
好，下一张，下一张 ，next。哦，那么这个吼，这个关公的英魂就带着关平、周仓转来个山西解救以后了，一直咧找，哪找讲我的头壳伫倒，我的头壳伫倒。
So his spirit went back to his hometown in Shanxi together with his son Guan Ping and also his subordinate Zhou Chang. They went back to their hometown and they were forever looking and asking, "Where is my head? Where is my head?"
这个时阵吼，当时帮伊精神超度迄个少年家普俊法师已经80几岁啊，就是迄等下来甲伊讲几句话，要活着。
So during this time, the young cultivator in his previous life who has helped him is already a very old monk, but he was there because he was waiting for the spirit of Guan Gong to return back, and because he wanted to tell him something.
这个普俊法师甲伊说啊，讲你咱着找你的头啊，有头壳无头，毋是拢三双。你即摆已经足够的，你死个要去倒的，当去倒。 无受你的身躯的迄个束缚。
So the old cultivator spoke to him and told him that why should you look for your head? Now you can go anywhere as wherever you want, and you do not need to have your body with you.
啊，你搁想看卖，你伫战争的时阵，过斩五将，伊共挂过偌济人的头壳。
So he reminded him that during the time of wars, Guan Gong has encountered so many difficulties, and at the same time, he has killed so many lives.
伊就甲关公讲哦，你应该甲过去的代志甲放下咯，吼。那么甲当下爱好好啊把握，用你的灵魂，甲因拜共款保庇即款老百姓。那么你一定会当成就千秋万岁功德。
So the cultivator told him that now you should let go of your past and look to the present, to the present, and try to bless the common people with your heroic spirit. It will be a good virtue for 1,000 of years.
伊听着即个父亲、即个修道人的话咧，就无搁去找爷爷肉体咯，都定定带着迄个关平啊、周昌的迄个英灵哦，四个去显化去救人。
So from that time on, Guan Gong listened and understood what Puting was telling him. So he no longer he was no longer obsessed with searching of his head, and he brought with him his son and also his subordinate, and they went everywhere to where people needed their help. They always saved them.
下一章 ，next， 这就是看到吼，这就是关羽吼带关平甲带周仓的相片。咱若伫咱目高头的迄个发状机，就是关公后壁有两个人，迄就是关平甲周仓。
So this is an image of Guan Gong with Guan Ping and Zhou Chang. So in some temples, we will always wonder why there are three of them. So this is, now we understand that why Guan Gong always has two persons with him in so many temples.
下一张 next， 这就是有人安尼合起来看到关公发相是安尼。
So this is another image of our Guan Gong.
伊显化时，互人合出来。
So it was a picture taken during one of his manifestations.
那么到300-400年后，迄个唐朝的时阵吼，有一个高僧，一个回修吼，叫做智者大师。伊要踮咧吼浙江省天台山遐建设一个大庙。这个时阵吼，关公已经是显化到这个所在，做这个所在的山神。
So after 300 to 400 years later, in the Tang Dynasty, there was a chief monk who wanted to build a large temple in Tiantai Mountain.
这个关公伊是遮个山神啊，看到有一个吼遮尔慈悲的人咧遮起大庙要度化众生，伊就定定显化，帮助这个法师咧，伫足短的时间在这个大庙去完成。
So during that time, Guan Gong was already the mountain god of the place. So he repeatedly manifested and helped this master to build the temple and finish it in the short period of time.
所以自迄阵开始咧，佛教咧，就尊奉关公做迦南菩萨，变成佛教的护法神。
So from then on, Buddhism followed Guan Gong as the Samharama Bodhisattva and became the protector of Buddhism.
这就是佛教会拜关公的原因，就是安尼。
That is the reason why most Buddhist temples worship our Guan Fa Lu Chu.
所以咱总共做一个结论哦，就这2000年来咧，关法如主底下讲关公从来毋捌甲迄个道将即个骹步甲停落毋捌， 就是一直继续去度众。
So we can see that for the past 2,000 years, our Guan Fa Lu Chu has never stopped his footstep in trying to help all sentient beings.
所以顶摆吼，迄美皇助理讲吼，儒家嘛拜伊啊，道家嘛拜伊啊，佛家嘛拜伊吼。儒家甲伊称呼做武圣，吼，甲孔子摆做伙。啊，道家咧甲伊尊奉做伏魔大帝，啊嘛甲伊嘛有人说讲，伊就即摆诶迄个天公玉皇大帝现任诶。
So during the lecture of our Lucy Zuli, she has discussed with us that on Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism, we all these worship our Guan Fa Lu Chu. That in Confucianism, he was revered and as the martial saint, while Confucius was the literary saint. And in Taoism, he was referred to as the subdued demon and monster saint. And businessmen respected him as the god of wealth. And he is also considered as the Tikong of the present.
下一张 ，next。啊，做生意的人咧，吼，该拜，因为是甲当作是武财神。
So businessmen often respected him and considered him as the god of wealth.
为什么安尼咧？吼，咱道中有说一句道理，叫做“人道若成，天道就成；人道尽，天道成。人道若做甲真正圆满，咱就能登去甲天道。”
So it was always mentioned that if we are accomplished as a person, we can also be accomplished as a cultivator of Tao.
拢是因为做人时阵吼，伊真正诚心，真正有信用，啊，佫真正尽忠，啊，佫真正有德，吼，甲伊死去，甲伊顶世人同款，拢照伊诺言去保护众生，吼，有真大的关系。
It was just like our Guan Fa Lu Chu that he was, as a person, he was loyal, he was very sincere, and just like during his previous time, that he also was a very loyal and very sincere person.
咱今仔日吼来讲到咱今仔日吼，咱即逐个修一贯道吼，这一贯道是地涌三期大道普传。
So just like in our I-Kuan Tao, we are already at the third stage of the Wai-Yang period where Tao is widely propagated.
要来度这寡众生吼，登去莲花会。那么观法如主咧，佮答应要替这个天道护法。所以咱每一摆喺办道喺唱段的时阵，会念着啊，念着啥物？讲观地有道顺良优，28宿护法段。这个观地基做顺良优，就是讲吼，每一摆咱来唱段的时阵咧，吼，观法如主咧，就是伫上手以位，如法如主就是伫下手以位，踮喺遐真正庄严咧保护这个段，保护这个道场。
So since Tao is to try to propagate and bring everybody back to heaven, our Guan Fa Lu Chu also is here and he has promised to protect the propagation of Tao. That is why every time when we have propagation ceremony, we always listen, we always hear the mentioning of our Guan Fa Lu Chu that he is on the left while our Sun Yang Lu Fa Lu Chu is at the right.
下一张。可见吼，咱这个天道看偌好，因为这个咱这位吼，遮尔慈悲的迄个 觀法如主，伊嘛足希望要踮咧天道內面，度更加濟眾生。
So we can see the greatness of Tao, and that even our Guan Fa Lu Chu is willing and is always here to help us with our Tao propagation.
那麼咱我想到轉來，咱今日會當得到，咱應該好好把握這個機緣。好
So
對老
today,
祖、對師尊師廟、對老前人，甲各位領導、點傳師、各位前賢在地，好好去修學講辦。
so today that we are very, very lucky to have received Tao, we must use and seize this opportunity to follow our Buddha Maitreya, our Sichuan, our Simu, and also our Grand Senior Masters and Masters, and also the senior sages and great virtues that to help and to propagate and cultivate Tao.
安尼咱才有法度對得起咱老母娘、甲諸天神仙、甲各位法律主無邊無盡迄個慈悲。
So as not to disappoint our Ning Sangti, our Mother in Heaven, for their great immeasurable compassion, and also of the compassion of all the saints and sages.
那今仔日各有無？還有最後一章了嗎？
無咯。
無今仔日想感謝有這個機會，踮咧遮甲各位道親做伙來學習觀法如主的德行。
So today we are very happy that we have this opportunity to discuss with everyone the life and life of our Guan Fa Lu Chu.
咱每一位神佛，就是咱修道人學習的目標。
Each and every saints and Buddha are examples of cultivators.
咱學習的目標，學習的迄個模範，
They are examples in our learning.
那麼咱對這個觀法如主的迄個迄寡德行內底咧，會當得到真多。
From the different ways of our Guan Fa Lu Chu, we can learn so much from him.
那今仔日學那講了有較圓滿的、無圓滿的所在咧，請觀法如主下罪。
So tonight, if our Tian Chuan Tse has said anything that is lacking or has committed mistake, our Tian Chuan Tse is asking Guan Fa Lu Chu to forgive her.
請兩位點傳師原諒。
And we also ask forgiveness from our Tian Chuan Tse.
請各位道親包涵。
And we ask for understanding from everyone.
祝各位道親大家身體健康。
We wish everyone to have a healthy body.
平安吉祥。
To have peace, peace and be safe.
多謝各位。
Thank you, everyone. Good night.